Good morning, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you for watching my videos. This week, we're starting on the foremast. Forward mast, mast in the front of the ship. So we pre-cut this one 10 millimeters in diameter. We got a mark on there where these crow's nest boards are going to land. And then this one, and this one. So you can see that we got a shape the top of this center one to match that square, and we got to do the same with the top of this one to match that square, and glue these crow's nest pieces together and then start getting some detail work done on them. The other tricky one is this landing here for the crow's nest. Now you can see all those holes in there, and of course we'll have to fashion some pieces of, I think it's 3 by 3 millimeters walnut. But we got to mark and drill all these holes in this piece without cracking it. The last one I built, it cracked while I was drilling. Yeah, you can see the cracks over here. I had to glue it back together and clamp it and then drill again because it cracked while I was drilling it. And we got this fashioned to fit into the holding block down in the bottom of the ship. Of course, you already saw the rear mast is done. So this is ready to glue in place once we get ready for the standing rigging. And of course, we're going to finish building the foremast before we do any of that standing rigging. But the plan this week is to get those pieces together for the foremast. And then we've got an oddball that I sort of forgot about. This probably should have done first, but that's the bowsprit stem that goes into that hole there and comes up, and it's got a couple sails on it. And that's on our original drawing that we had hanging up here for a long time. So that's something else we got to build before we start finishing the standing rigging, because I'm sure some of the standing rigging is going to tie to that. So there's the bowsprit right there. It gets that last finial on top, that little stanchion or divot. But that's something else we got to build, is the bowsprit. So I'm going to start cleaning these pieces up and getting ready to glue together, and filing on the ends of these and getting them squared up, and drilling on this, and pre-cutting all the pieces I need to glue that together. There's probably a few other things I haven't even got to yet. Yeah, we got to build those little blocks that hold the bearing wheels or shivs in there. You got to build that from scratch. So there's a lot of detail work to go here. Let's get to it. So we got the two little blocks for the shivs glued together, and then I clamped the two blocks in the vise. There's 4 pieces there, 2 of them are glued together, and then it's separate in the middle. So when we take them out of the vise, there's going to be 2 separate pieces here. We got to make sure this is going to fit in there, and I think that is deep enough. Won't hurt to go a little deeper on this side, will it? Got a little bigger file here. Just a little bit too close there, eh? That way I can do 2 at a time. Knock some of them burrs off there. Yeah, that's deep enough. So now voila, now we got to drill a hole for the pin. We'll use this brass wire here for our pin. So I think that's 1 millimeter. Yeah, we'll get a 1 millimeter drill bit up there in the drill press and pop 4 holes. In there, and then we can glue it to the side of this with the shivs in place. So now let's try to glue these on. Without getting glue everywhere. And according to the drawing, it goes on the bigger like that. And after that dries, we'll put some super glue on these pins and cut them off with the nippers. File them a little bit. So hopefully that'll stay. This has got a little weight to it with them shivs in there. Oop. Well, we sort of suspected that, didn't we? Gonna have to try to put a clamp on there. It looks straight, so I'll grab a clamp over here that's bigger. These clamps are bigger than them little ones. Just no easy way to do this without knocking something loose. Get around here where I can see it a little better. Yeah, the more I mess with it, the more I think it's gonna. But that one on the bottom isn't coming loose. I'm gonna leave it. The one on the top hurt to be adjusted a little bit. A little dab. Help hold it there. Doesn't touch on the bottom. I made it a little wider than what the print shows because it's so hard to file and grind on those pieces without breaking them off. You get too skinny. Like that shows the middle part is really skinny. Ain't no way with this basswood without breaking something off. Even the outside is skinnier than what I got, but that just means I made the overall length longer, so I don't have to worry about something breaking. Okay, so that's a little tough spot that we got finished. And now, while that is drying, we can get ready for mounting this main crow's nest. I spent a lot of time yesterday shaping this grid work to fit in here, and in the process this whole corner here broke off. I had to glue a new section in there from some of this scrap, and then glue the whole thing down onto these pieces of walnut. And then I had some counterweights sitting on it overnight to let it dry. So it's pretty solid now. I think that mark, yeah, that mark on there is the bottom of the grid work. We just got to make sure this is perpendicular and plumb with the edge when we glue that. It's a fairly snug fit the way we got it filed. And then there's some braces that'll go on. We got these two thin ones on the inside and then two fatter ones on the outside. And then we'll go like so. Because that one main beam is so close to the mast, I'm wondering if I want to forego that skinny one, because this is the main support out here for this. You know, this has got a cantilever on it. And we don't want that cantilever to have too much length without supporting it. So on the main mast, I was able to get those pieces in there. My camera unplugged from the power supply here. Yes, yeah, I was able to get those pieces in there, but my main support piece did not touch the beam. So I added this other one in underneath it, which really isn't in the plans, but it beefed it up quite a bit. So as you put things together, sometimes you gotta improvise to make them strong. With them big blocks in there that I added, that gave me the support glued off the back of this thing. I don't know, let's see here. Yeah, it would be better to let that rest right on that beam and then glue it on this post. The plan shows that middle part of the mast sticking down below bottom of that crow's nest a little bit. I think if I do it like this, that'll help me keep it straight based on this square notch that we got filed on the end of the mast there. So let's glue it. Get up to our mark. I'm going to stand up and look down on it. Make sure we're nice and plumb here. We are on the mark. So uh-oh. Alright, let's try this again without being interrupted. Before we stick that on there, we want some on this top edge here, and then that's where the mast is going to rest on the side of it. And of course, the camera is right in the way. I'm adding some glue. Bottom of that. Just to give me a little more strength in that area. Before I do this other side. And we get over here like this, and we're left-handed. That one seems to be on there pretty good. This one's going to go on like that. And it's flush in the back. Perfect. It's lined up with the beam. Oop. I'm just pushing it up with my thumb, making sure that it's seating against that bottom there really good. Yeah. Now we got a pre-cut bunch of boards to act as stiffeners on the base of that. Just like the stiffeners we glued on up here. We want to add a bunch of stiffeners. What do you know? That's where we'll put that, because that's where it's showing there. Put one there too. Just got to file off the edge a little bit. Yeah. When you get to this glue up stage, you gotta have everything ready. And we got another one of them somewhere here. Yep, tweezers this time. Yeah, the edge isn't going to touch those braces, so I just need some in the middle. And on the top. Now I'm going to check for looking straight down on it, making sure that it's lined up all the way up to the top. That looks good. So we got a whole bunch of stiffeners to put on. Both of these arms are going to get a bunch of stiffeners and some little blocks that stick out like we did on the other mast. You see there's all these stiffeners and then that block sticking out there. And then of course all the pulleys and stuff, but we got to get past the wooden specs first. So I'm going to pre-cut a whole bunch of these and get those blocks shaped, because that's just stuff that make out of raw stock, and then get ready to glue up again. We're making headway. Okay, so I finished all the stiffeners on that main mast. We got the dead eyes installed, and the eyelets underneath there, and we got the railing. And pre-cut these to the exact same length, and then cut a little rabbet on the end of them so they would seat into the railing. And then after that dried, glued it on to the base frame. So I tied the first few ropes on, and I prepped the first of the big blocks. It's a double and a single next to each other, and glued together and then tied it. So we got two of those. That'll be there, and then got two larger. The 502s are larger than the 342s, which are the small one next to the big one here. So we got 3 502s ready. Put 2 there and 1 on the eyelet here. There's a 502. Go on that eyelet. We got some more 502s to get ready for outside there. There'll be 2 502s up here, 2 down there, 1 off the eyelet. I got to make up some more 502s, and then we got a bunch of 342s. Oh, that gets a 502. The 342s are way up here. I still got to put some stiffeners on and drill some holes in this area. But those 342s will get installed after we get that ready. And then a bunch of doubles here. You see how they don't show me what those are. It would have to be 342s, I guess, and then a 417 in the middle. 417's a small double, and these are 331s are big doubles. So we got a lot of pulleys to tie, but we got the rest of the glue up done, and the dead eyes and the railing. We'll have to cut some of that netting, glue that on the railing. But we're getting down to the nitty-gritty on the mast. So I'm going to work on tying a bunch of these on and making up some more before we give up. But we're making headway. It's looking pretty good now.